this is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. It is fandemonium.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Bills Fandemonium presents the K-Gun Report. I'm your host, Jared. Tonight joining me, we have Swank.
Yo.
And we have Scott.
Yo.
Guys, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our handles are on the tracker below, along with updated stat lines, injury updates, Bills news, and 24/7 Bills Fandemonium news. Fellas, as every episode, we start out with, what are we drinking tonight? Swank, I'm going to go with you first.
Well, we're rolling up on a pay week, but not quite yet, so PBR, my friends.
It's a good choice. Good choice. How about you, Scott? What you got going on tonight?
Well, it's a sad night at the Reed household. I'm finishing off my Iron Smoke bourbon whiskey.
Oh,
Cheers.
man. Feel for you, buddy.
Time for a
Cheers.
new bottle. Yep.
All right, so I ran to the store today, actually, to pick up another bottle of our 2020 24/7 Bills Fandemonium Booze of the Year Iron Smoke Bourbon Whiskey. They did not have it there, so I had to settle for the next best thing, which is still Iron Smoke. It's just the little guys.
Oh, there you go.
Do you feel like a giant when you hold that?
I feel ginormous, like holding up a big fish. You put it out forward, it looks big. So thank you, Iron Smoke. Delicious.
Yep. Cheers, everyone. 3-0.
Cheers.
3-0, guys. 3-0. Can't beat that. Perfect start. Bills are 3-0. Beat the Rams this past weekend, 35-32, in a game that was kind of up and down and scary. And it put us Bills fans right back to what we're used to the last 15, 20 years is what's going on.
Yeah,
Again, they had the third quarter issues, but they pulled it off. They pulled it off in the end, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, when you get that W, those 60 minutes that led up to it, it doesn't really matter.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
Yep. Fellas, I'm going to start the night off with a quick question for both of you. Do you think that the offense that we saw this past weekend is the offense we're going to see for the rest of the year? Scott, lead the way.
If you ask me week one, I would be kind of hesitant and tell you I kind of hope so. I kind of don't hope so. It's just the amount of times that Dable ran the ball with Allen. But after seeing these last 2 weeks and the play calls that he's been, I would say Dable's been responsible and pretty spot on with how to run this offense against the particular defense that you're playing against. They're playing against their weaknesses, and I would have to say this is the offense that we are seeing, the type of offense we are seeing, high potent, high octane. This is the offense that we'll see all year. I believe that.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just want to throw a couple stats out there that I've noticed. The first game, we ran the ball 32 times, passed it 46. Out of those 32 runs, Allen had half of them, 14, a little less than half of them. The second game, ran the ball 23 times, passed it 35 times. The third game, 21 times, passed it 33 times. We're pretty much running about 40% of the time. The only difference is the last two games, again, like I said, the first game, Allen had 14 carries. The last two games, I think Allen had like 6 total. So the runs are going to our running backs, which is a good thing. So when I saw that first and second drive this weekend, I knew this question was going to be the first one I was going to ask, is this is the offense that I feel that we're going to see from here on out. So
and real quick, with Moss being injured, I think we were reminded of how potent and how agile and slippery Singletary is. So I think Dable needed to be reminded of how good of a running back we have with Devin Singletary.
Yeah, and he was nice to watch.
Oh, yeah. Swank, what do you
think, bud?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think this is it. All of the critics said we had to win this game to be considered relevant and prove that A, our boy Josh Allen was for real, and B, this whole passing attack was going to be the staple of our season. And I think they proved that again. Another 300-plus yard game. A big, the 10th fourth quarter comeback? Tied with Deshaun Watson now for the most in the NFL. I love it, man. I can't remember when it's been more exciting to watch these guys. Not since the '90s, and the way the wide receivers are clicking. I got so angry when they had to come back after they had such a commanding lead, but I wasn't as nervous as I have been in past years. That last drive, I know that Josh Allen's capable of it. I know who he's got around him. Like, it felt different, and I think 3 weeks straight of proving that they're a pass-first offense is enough for me to say that, yeah, this is what they're going to do.
Yeah, and going back to,
and the man's still throwing a 70+% completion percentage.
Yeah. Going back to what you said about having to come back. We're going to go there. That controversial interception play. Last season, Allen had a couple comebacks, right? It's because, he had an above average year. The teams had to fight back and forth, so comebacks were kind of expected. This first 3 games this season, he's been pretty much spot on, dominating. They drove down after getting the ball back from the Rams the third quarter and put a score on the board. They stopped the Rams. They got the ball back again. They were marching down again when the interception happened. Guys, what a momentum. I mean, momentum change, even when there's no fans. It was crazy. You just watched the Rams take that ball down and score right away. And then it was just, oh gosh, it's like, here we go again. But Swank, Allen did bring them back to win the game. And that's what we like to see. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the game. Sometimes stuff happens where it's going to change momentum, and you don't want it to happen. You're going to talk about it for the next week before the next game, especially with the controversial calls. But, like you said, we pulled it off. Allen pulled it off. Awesome.
Controversy on the field's one thing, but when the instant replay goes to New York and they got guys that are just watching film after film about the play, and for them to still decide that was an interception, I mean, Bills fans, we say it all the time. No one likes the Buffalo Bills, the small market teams, yada, yada, yada. But then plays like that happen, you're like, there it is. There's that play. And it was a hell of a lead they gave up, but that play, the defense just got off the field. I'm not sure how many plays into that play that happened, but you could tell they were backpedaling to play deep. They ran 3 straight plays, and then that Woods play across the middle and took it in for an end zone. You can tell they were just backpedaling for the next quarter and a half. And that was a momentum swing, crowd or no crowd. And New York's got to be better than that. The guy had the ball in his hands when he caught the ball, when he went down to the ground. And then all of a sudden, once he hit the ground, let's remember, with a defender on him, once he hits the ground, play's dead. So whatever happens after he touches the ground, he's tackled. Nothing should matter. And then New York still messed that up bad.
I didn't think that there could be any more controversy over what a catch was and was not. And for them to call that an interception is just the most ridiculous call I've seen in years. He caught the ball above his head with 2 hands and pulled it into his chest. And then the guy covered it up like a submarine sandwich that he was trying to rip out of his arms, and he couldn't even rip it out of his arms. So when they called it an interception and then they looked at it, I wasn't even worried about it. I was like, oh, okay, well, there's that offensive pass interference call, blah, blah, blah. It's going to go back anyway. I had no thought in my head that was actually going to be stood, that call was going to stand. And they came back and said that, and I was just like, what? What do you mean? How is that an interception? And then I was telling you guys earlier, all the talk on, Rams Twitter and social media about how, the pass interference call at the end of the game is what decided it, and that wasn't really pass interference, and the refs just wanted the Bills to win, which, first of all, you haven't watched the Bills for the last 20 years if you think the refs want the Bills to win, so
yeah,
shut up. But, you say all that and you don't say anything about that bogus interception call, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The commentators didn't even think it was a pick,
Yeah.
So
it's still the only thing you're hearing is that interference call rather than And like I said before, even if it wasn't pass interference, it was still illegal contact down the field. So Bills would still have the ball, and where the ball would have been placed really would have been much of a difference. They would ran the same play probably and scored a touchdown anyway. So
Yeah.
it's
All these hypotheticals, like they were saying, like the interception didn't really like change how the outcome of the game would have been played. I 100% disagree. Like you were saying, it shifted the whole momentum. Like the Rams took that and they ran with it, and they scored and scored. So
Yeah,
for you to
they
sit
jumped right
back,
on top.
yeah, exactly. For somebody to sit back and say like, oh, it didn't really matter in the scheme of things. Like every single play matters. Every call matters. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. I thought that was going to be the one that ended us, like, for that game. And luckily we have Josh Allen.
Josh
And
Allen.
and he did what he does.
well,
And he
Yeah.
did it with more confidence this year, right? So
Yep, right. I mean, prior to that interception, the Rams had an 8-play, 75-yard drive with a touchdown. Okay, a little momentum shift. Then 3 plays later, that interception happens, right?
Mhm.
And then they score 3 plays after that. So that is like, if you want to talk momentum shift, there you go.
yeah.
They stopped them the next drive, and then they had a 10-play, 97-yard drive. So it was looking bad for a minute. It was looking real bad.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I admit I probably had a few more beers than I should have.
You how did you guys react at the end of the game?
I was relieved. I mean, once I saw them moving the ball when they converted
Really?
that long,
You were
third-
just like,
third-
whew, thank goodness. Dude, I was jumping up and
Yes.
down, pounding things like a gorilla. Like,
Were you really?
oh my God. I was standing up, like, with the fourth down play, and then like the shot to bees, and I had my Mafia jersey on, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I had to put my drink down because I was just like sitting there, and everybody was like, oh my God, I don't know if they're gonna do it. And they did it, and I was just like, ah!
Yeah, no, that was
punching my ottoman.
no, it was crazy the way I found out. I have 2 TVs in the man cave, and I had the Bills game on the main TV. But the NFL, the football network has the games are on like the ticket has like 5 seconds ahead. So when I turned it to the one where you can watch the 4 games, my wife is watching on the left side, and so I'm watching the Bills play happening right in front of me, and all of a sudden I hear a little, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. I'm thinking, what the heck is she talking about? As I'm seeing the Bills throw the ball, Allen throw the ball to Croft in the corner of the end zone. He saw it 5 seconds before it actually happened. So I'm like, did you watch that play before it actually happened in front of me? So I got to hear it twice. I got to hear.
Good thing they
celebrate.
won, because if they would have lost that game, Scott, I guarantee you'd been like, you're ruining it.
Dude, I
Why you
remember
jinxing
being at like the halfway, and they would have one of the TVs on like an antenna on the roof, and the other one would be satellite, and there would be like that delay.
Yep,
So somebody would be over there watching the TV going, oh, come on. And you're like, what? And then by the time you look, it's like, oh, man, what the hell?
You should go watch with that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But guys, Croft scored that touchdown. That was number 2 for him, and Lee
Number
Smith
2.
scored a touchdown, right? So talk about Lee Smith. False start Lee Smith. Talk about taking, right, Dawson Knox concussion protocol out for the game. Wouldn't you think that they wouldn't even address the tight end situation?
Right, that might have been game. That obviously was game plan.
I think partly the reason why Lee Smith and Croft are so wide open many of the times is because they didn't plan it for him. They didn't plan for him. They planned for Knox, but he was injured. And credits to Daboll. I mean, Daboll had an offensive game plan that included the tight ends. Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm on the Daboll train, guys. I'm getting on there.
No. Sucks, doesn't it?
We were ripping him apart his first year, weren't we?
Oh my God.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
What's he doing? And then once he went upstairs and started calling the plays from up above, I think it kind of clicked.
Well, him and Ken Dorsey, the quarterback coach, I think they know what they're doing with Mr. Allen there.
say.
So
Here's a quick little sidebar because I don't want to get off track without finishing up the Rams thing. But everybody thinks Dable is going to leave this year, right? If they go where everybody thinks they're going to go, he's going to get a head coaching shot somewhere. So do you think Dorsey steps up and he's the offensive coordinator?
I think so. I think that's the logical thing, the logical way to go, because that's how they make steps. You be a quarterback's coach, a positional coach. The next step is being an offensive, defensive, or special teams coach, and the next step after that is head coach somewhere, whether it's in college or in the NFL. So that's a chain of command. I think that makes sense, and which is good for Buffalo because that means they won't miss a beat.
Yeah, for real. What do you think,
Right.
Jared?
Well, I think that you got to remember he's also coaching 53, 60, 65 people. If he decides, and most of these people have been in the system for a while, if he decides to leave, we'd like him to stay. The Buffalo Bills offense has that play scheme kind of embedded in their head. So who knows? Maybe I think they'd have to stick with the same guy underneath to bring him up to keep the whole same type of play offense going. Just makes sense. So hopefully the young kid, Bean hasn't been bringing anybody in that hasn't been good at educating himself about the game and learning the game. So I imagine it's the same with the coaching staff. I imagine they brought somebody in that's going to learn well from the higher ups, the leaders, and then eventually when they part ways because they're going to go on to be successful head coaches somewhere else, the next man up is just going to be going.
Yep.
So full confidence, whatever happens. And again, I'd like to have him stay, but it is a business. He's got to do what's best for him and his family. But he'll stay. Let's hope he stays. Guys, let's talk a little bit about Gabriel Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of stepped up.
Huge.
Watching his pass routes, his separation, he seems like he's well advanced for a rookie. My fantasy football, John Brown got me 0 points this week. I don't know if he's going to be there this coming up next week. But
did he even take a
Gabriel
snap?
Davis. What?
Did he even take a snap?
John Brown did. Yeah.
He was out there a few times. He was targeted twice.
Yeah, and then he left the game. Gabriel Davis, we saw it all throughout preseason, him making them spectacular catches, especially on Trey White. He took it to the field. He took it to the game, and it is sweet to watch. And it's just, again, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Scott, how you were telling Chobes there, aren't you excited about the young guys coming up because of all of the veterans and all of the experience that they have in front of them they get to learn? Well, Gabriel Davis is learning, and he is doing. And do you see him taking Brown's spot? I mean,
I don't see him taking a spot. Brown comes back. Brown's playing.
Yeah,
but I can
that's
see
a hypothetical question.
I
know you got your three: Diggs, Beasley, and Brown, but
Brown's our deep threat. But we have a deep threat in Stephon Diggs, and Beasley's our slot guy. And I think Davis will be a good possession / he can do everything else kind of guy. Interchange him. I just see this injury kind of. We're going to see what Gabriel Davis is all about because we'll see him more on the field. But other than the speed factor, I don't think we're going to see a lot of change, anything different, because I think they both produce well when they're out there. So it'd be good to see the rookie play.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about Gabriel Davis now because with John Brown getting tweaked or whatever. I think he'll be back this week, and it'll be all fine. The thing I think people have to realize is that Smoke has years in the NFL and has production over those years, and he's a great football player. One of the best route runners in the league. Stephon Diggs says that he's like the most underrated wide receiver in the league, right? So you have Gabe Davis who flashed in a game, and I love it. I think the long-term answer to your question about if he's going to replace John Brown is yes, but I think it's going to take its natural course. I think he's going to take over because the team is so well built, and I think even if like it did happen that Gabriel Davis squeaked him out in some sort of like season-long competition to where maybe he got comparable reps to John Brown. John Brown's the kind of guy that I think he wants to play, but he wants to win, Yeah,
he wants to win. That's that whole culture right there that they've developed there in Buffalo Bills. One Bills drive. Guys, quick, I want to talk about the offensive line really quick, but before we go there, if the Buffalo Bills do drop a receiver, who are they bringing up from the practice squad? Is it going to be Duke Williams or Hodgins? Quick answer. Go.
Hodgins.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hodgins. I don't know what his injury was all about.
Well, they put him on the short term, right?
Right.
Yep. So he's back technically. Um, we'll get to that in a second. During the game, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Allen had a lot of time, and they were praising that offensive line. Did you guys get a chance to watch them dominate that front? I mean, Donald did come in. You notice I said his name right this week. Donald did come in and wreak some havoc, but he only wreaked havoc on pretty much 6 minutes of the game. Throughout the game, he was pretty much held at point, but that offensive line, we gotta give props to them. They did a great job.
Brian Winters did get beat up a little bit from what I saw at the right guard position, but a lot of people weren't paying attention and saw that Ford was actually playing at left guard position.
Yeah.
So it was Ford left guard, and I didn't hear anything about Quentin Spain. So I don't know what's going on there. I didn't know of any injury or anything like that. I don't know if it's situational football where they think maybe Ford is better with the 3-4 line of Aaron Donald. Who knows? But Spain didn't start. Ford was at the left guard. Winters was at the right guard. So it'd be interesting to see how they play it from here on out.
Well, I think the coaches tried to explain that away too, saying that it just was like the right fit for this week, right? But
Okay.
I do love how they don't give us anything. I know it's frustrating for the media and all that stuff, but I've always wanted like a front office that just kept everything close to the vest, kept you wondering, and then like I've said before on the show, man, on Sunday this is what you get. So you keep it all under shroud until Sunday. Mm-hmm. And with Quentin Spain, man, they paid a lot for him. And if they have a cheaper option that's giving them a better result, I wonder if
trading him,
trade him, or keep him around for a couple weeks and see if it's for real.
right?
But you're paying him $5 million a year, and when Feliciano comes back,
yeah,
he's coming back.
Maybe you don't need him, and maybe that's why Cody Ford got his start, like in those different spots. You just don't know. There was some rumors that maybe his this week of practice wasn't his strongest. Like the coaches didn't like the way he practiced too, but that was like pretty far fetched, just like theoretical kind of stuff.
Right.
Everything I know about him, he's like fantastic. Bills kind of guy, so it'll be interesting to see.
So I found that it took me until at least the middle of the first quarter, and I was like, wait a minute, Spain's not in. Did he get hurt? I'm not seeing any stat line saying he's injured.
Yeah.
So I was confused, but to make a move like that and to against, like I said, the first complete team that they're playing all year and playing Donald, I mean, make a move like that, it was kind of bold if you ask me, but it worked out.
It did. They know what they're doing. It's
yeah,
crazy.
Sure do.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
they
think
get paid the
Donald
big
too. Donald's like one of those guys. Like you got to expect he's going to make his plays. He's going to have those big splash plays, at least 2 or 3 a game. So for him doing what he did, and that fumble was like a little too much for me. But like we got through it. Everything's cool. Yeah.
Gosh, man, he just manhandled him, didn't he? Jeez, that man's a strong individual.
Yeah, dude.
One hand and he flops him like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Actually, another call that's controversial, that 15-yard penalty that they added against Allen after that fumble was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Is it because he said something to the refs that they felt like they hurt their feelings, so they threw the flag?
It's a world of feelings nowadays. He probably said, "You're mean, Mr. Referee," and then threw a flag.
Yeah.
He was pretty pissed, man.
Well, because if you see the replay, Donald did put his hands on his face mask. So illegal hands of the face or face mask, you can call either one. But to call it back on Allen, and then
this day and age when you're supposed to protect the quarterback by any means necessary, right? Like anything, you see these like ends coming by and just like grazing a face mask, and it's over,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I get the horse collar penalty. I do, especially if someone's running down the field and you yank them back. Maybe that's why they don't have it in the pocket, because the quarterback's really not at high speed going anywhere. But it's still a dangerous play, as you saw how quickly that beast Donald ripped him down. That could have been an injury. So it's just as dangerous. You'll see that probably at the meeting at the beginning of the 2021 season for penalty changes. Let's stick with the offense a little bit more. We can't leave the offense without mentioning Allen's touchdown pass to Diggs. Who was covering Diggs on that play? Do we remember? And when you saw that, you were like, gosh, man, it feels
The
good.
trash can. I think it was the
Trash
can.
Camsy.
And then later on this week or yesterday, I saw I didn't know that the stiff arm on that guy blitzing was against Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. So Ramsey, take note. Obviously, your opinions aren't truthful. Go Bills.
Dude, I'm so glad that they got that one to Stefan on him.
Yeah.
And I was really expecting him to go over there and jaw at him. And I kind of liked how he just did his new patented touchdown celebration by punting it into the stands, which I'm wondering if he's getting fined for or he's not,
Right.
because there's
Yeah.
nobody in the stands.
Right.
I kind of hope he cuts that out if they do put people in the stands eventually. But I thought for sure he'd run over there and jaw at him, and he didn't. And then I got thinking, like, wow, it's almost better that it wasn't even worth his time to
Yeah,
go
let him
over
doing
there.
his own stuff.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
You know, Minnesota will tell you that's what he would have done, but I don't think he would. I think Stephon Diggs isn't what we heard all about over in
No.
Minnesota and when he was trying to get out. I think he's in an organization that he trusts what's happening there, so he's not going to put anything. He's not going to risk anything. So I did like the whole I'm going to do it my way with my team. We don't need you guys. I loved it.
I watched that video of Tyler Kroft catching that game winner like 15 times. As soon as somebody pointed out what Diggs was doing, like, did you guys see that?
No.
So Kroft came down in the end zone on his back, caught the ball, and Diggs was right there. And he ran over, standing over top of him, just slapping his hand. And then he got up, and, like, all you saw was the back of his helmet just being like, that's the way you do it. Like, he was all over him, dude.
Jarring,
and I was
getting
just like, yes. So great.
And you got Josh Norman yesterday saying that this is the best game he's ever seen. He
Yeah.
may be biased being in Buffalo, but he loves it here. And I coming back to this whole
He's
Josh
itching
Norman
to come
thing,
in.
I can't wait to see him come in. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he-
can't wait to hear about practice and all that stuff to see if he actually suited up and got out there. That would be so great.
Real quick, because I don't want to miss on this, Jared. Punters are people too. Bajorquez with a 72-yard punt.
He got one.
He got one. There's one.
He
for
got
you.
one.
He's having a
That's
great
good.
season. When he doesn't have to punt a lot, he does really well.
Yeah.
But
That first game against the Jets, he had a 53-yard punt. Struggle against the Dolphins. He had to punt a little bit more than twice. But then, yeah, that was awesome.
yeah, man.
Boo.
I'm excited for him. You know, sometimes you just need that one good kick to set the way for the next couple games. So hopefully he takes that and runs with it.
Well, you got the energy of that whole team now around him, right? So, like, every phase of the team is firing. People will say the defense, whatever, is lackluster. I would argue a little bit that the Rams are a really good team, and they held them at bay for, 3/4 of the game? You know?
Yeah. Almost 3 whole quarters. 8
Three
minutes
and a half quarters.
when the shit started hitting the fan.
And then you got
Yeah.
Edmonds with his shoulder, who obviously is not completely healed. And you got the same old stuff. Levi had that nice pick, and then
Milano with a sack and Epinesa with his first sack, guys.
That's a dude.
Yeah,
two
we'll get there.
sacks. 2 sacks on that first. 2 sacks on that first drive, then nothing after though. I was
I
kind of
know.
disappointed.
So those of you watching, don't be afraid to leave some comments or questions. We'll answer them if we see them. Thanks for joining the conversation and joining the K-Gun Report. Guys,
yeah.
let's get to the defense, why don't we? Again, Swanky said they shut him down for 3.5 quarters before the meltdown. Milano, he shows why he was an asset to that defense. I mean, I feel Dobson did well last week in Tremaine Edmonds' replacement, but they couldn't fill in Milano's. And he, right off the bat, he got the sack. And it's like, yep, that's why. That's why important to have on this team, and he showed it quickly. Another thing we could talk about too, Levi Wallace, he did pretty good. He got his first interception of the year, but my guy, I was kind of focused on watching Taron Johnson. He kind of got, what did you say, Swank? 7 targets? He got 7 catches against him?
targets, 7 catches, and I think 90 yards. And
Yeah,
most,
so he
like,
did good.
45 were after the catch.
Now his strong point, how many tackles? 14 tackles? He filled in on the run pretty good.
Couple tackles for loss. I mean, he looked
Yeah,
pretty good.
like nice tackles
Yeah,
too.
you read
not
that.
like
What was that? That one screen he read really well, right? And
Right.
yeah.
And that's the defense the Bills use a lot is that nickel defense. They'll bring that nickel up playing as like an outside linebacker type style.
Mm-hmm.
But and he was really good against the run. But we did a little thing on him on 24/7 Fandemonium page about him, his time to shine and all that stuff. And again, if you're looking against a run, he was shining, but against the pass, 7 for 7 is not a very good number.
Yeah. I know they were swapping him out with Dean Marlowe a little bit too after the half. Which he's a bigger bodied guy. I don't know. The way that they got chewed up in the third quarter, I don't really know. I'd have to really go back and look at it to see if it really made that much of a difference. But I don't know.
No, I'm hoping that Taron Johnson's going to have a big week this week just because of the fact the Rams, I feel, have a better wide receiver core. So he won't get beat as much, but he's going to definitely need to be there. We did a survey. Actually, this is for the next coming. Yeah, we did a survey of who we were most scared of. We'll get to that later. But a lot of people said
just bringing it up,
game.
Actually.
Yeah, the running game. And Taron Johnson's going to have to definitely be there for that because, like we said, he was there. He stuffed the run pretty well. And the wide receiver core is not going to be as good as the Rams. We're not going to go to that game yet unless you got it up. Do you have it up already, Swank?
Nope.
Okay. So, all right. We said AJ Epinesa got his first sack. We all congratulated him. Like the run game was a concern. Hopefully we can get on top of that. Other than the little meltdown there, I thought our defense did pretty well. Does anybody have anything else to add?
I'll disagree with you on that. I don't think our defense did very well at all.
No, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Just kidding.
No. I mean,
go ahead, Scott. I mean, go ahead. Elaborate. Why?
In the first half, they had 4 drives, and 2 of them were stalled, obviously, by the sacks and the missed field goal and then the interception. But they still had drives of 50, 30, 63 yards, and then the half came. Okay, so they were still kind of figuring out this defense. And other than the turnover, like I said, and the sack, they were still driving. And then we all know what happened in the second half. But 32 rushes for 168 yards is kind of concerning. I know Edmonds was banged up, and Milano still, he's banged up. He's coming back off an injury, but I'm still concerned about the Bills' rush defense, and obviously the pass off defense. So I don't think they were very impressive at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was pretty much going off of points. Sometimes your defense bends but don't break. You did mention the missed field goal. Yep, and then when you have to step up and get the interception or sack when it's needed, that's key. But yeah, you're right. Yard wise, they did give up a lot, but when they needed to, for the majority of the game, they shut things down when they needed to. You're right. I'll give you that. That's why we're here to discuss. And finally, I'm glad we disagreed on something.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see him blitz a little bit more.
You ain't kidding.
I just don't see that front line getting home as much, and it seems like every time they pull that safety or a corner, like a linebacker with Milano, like they get home, man, and so they draw up blitzes that are really, really well thought out, and obviously the execution's there. But I guess like you're giving up something in the secondary if you pull a guy and blitz them and all that stuff. But you have a super well-rounded team, And I am of that old school thought that if you put a quarterback on his ass enough times in a game, whether it's a sack or a hurry or a hit, he's not going to have a good time back there, and that's going to get to him eventually. So I think I'd like to see a lot more of that, Epinesa's sack, that was beautiful. I thought for sure Goff was going to throw it away or try to torch him, and he just couldn't, and it was great.
Now I did get super excited for that sack when he was rolling out and he leaped.
Yeah.
And the commentators weren't really saying anything. You're like, oh, another tackle. And I was like, that's a sack. That's a sack. He got his first sack.
Yeah.
But hit. And then
I was kind of annoyed too.
He gave Epinesa a sack on that one. I was like, yes, he got his whistle wet.
I was annoyed. It was the guy's NFL debut sack, and the announcers didn't make anything of it. And we don't have the crowd in the stands to hype things up, but at least the color commentary can do a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you see Epinesa after the sack though?
Yeah, he was pumped.
Oh
yeah, he was pumped.
But come on, commentators, you gotta know your notes and know that this was this guy's first sack of his career, playing at home. Be a little more hyped about it, or at least mention it and be excited about it.
Yeah, especially because there's no crowd out there. Give us a little bit.
Yes.
Give us something.
God.
Just a little
Something.
something.
There's something.
Shit.
Anyway. Guys, 3-0. We're traveling to Las Vegas to play on the Raiders. They're 2-1. They lost this past week. We were hoping there would be a 3-0 thing, but it's not. Guys, any concerns? I know like I mentioned earlier, we did a little survey to see what people thought the biggest concern for this game was going to be, and they said the running game. Do you agree with it? Scott, go ahead.
Well, I picked the running game because I kind of had to pick something, so I picked the running game.
You didn't have to pick it.
I know. Honestly, I don't want it to come and bite me in the ass later, but I'm really not concerned about anything. Josh Jacobs is good, right? He averages only 3.2 yards a carry so far. He's got 258 rushing yards, but he still gets 68. He's got 68 rushes, which is 80-something% of the run. So if they're running the ball, it's going to him. And Mr. Carr there, the quarterback, he completes 60% of his passes to either Renfro, Waller, or Jacobs. Mm-hmm. And 3 of the 4 wide receivers that play on the field are questionable as of now. Incognito's on IR. They potentially Trent Williams is injured at right tackle. Who else is their other right tackle? Sam Young is injured on right tackle. Their line is depleted.
Sam Young, the singer?
Maybe. I don't know. This guy will be singing because he'll be on the bench. Nothing's concerning me offensively. And then the defense, they're letting up 30 points a game. So, like I said, I hope it doesn't come and bite me in the ass later, but there really is nothing I'm concerned about with the Raiders. I know Waller. My matchup of the week is Waller versus the linebackers again because he's a baller. He's got 20 catches and a touchdown, but and he's Carr's go-to guy. But I play tight end versus linebackers. That's the key of the game for every game for me so far. But
it's safe to say you're saying Waller is a baller.
Waller is a baller.
Wishes he was a little bit taller.
I got all the jokes tonight. Sorry.
But I don't mean to be boring, so we'll go to Swank on this. But I don't see anything that really scares me with the Raiders. They're 2-1. They beat the Breeze and Saints, and who else did they beat? I can't remember.
The first game of the season.
Well, anyways,
oh my god! I just watched who?
I don't know.
I just watched the game last night. In my film review.
Oh, man.
Anyways, they're 2-1, so they win games. They know how to win, but defense letting up 30 points a game, and the offense isn't anything to worry about for me. So,
yeah,
Swank, you're right, buddy.
I said running back. I posed that question, and it looks as though if we're divvying it up here,
Raiders versus Panthers, week 1.
There's just a ton of people. I'd say like 90% of the people voted for running back, and I agree with that.
That's smart Fandemonium.
Yeah, Fandemonium smart, man. I think all your points, man. The wide receiving group, they're all hacked up. The offensive line's hacked up. I think that they're gonna try to run some like heavy sets and get this kid the ball and just run it down our throat. We've given up quite a bit of rushing yards these last couple weeks, and I think that's probably their only option. I like Carr a lot, and if he can get something going with some, second-tier, third-tier wide receiver nobody's heard of, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. But I think this is the game that D-line we were just talking about needs to step up. I think Mr. Hughes needs to get home. I think if you're going to start rotating Mr. Epinesa in there, I'd like to see him get another one. A couple other guys you haven't heard their name called. Horrible Harry, Ed Oliver. These dudes need to start doing something, and if they're not, at least blocking lanes so these guys aren't cutting us up,
Yeah, if you're not creating pressure on a quarterback, then we need to stop giving up 5 yards a carry.
Exactly. So the rushing game is the big one. If Carr had 1 or 2 of those wide receivers, I'd say Carr too, because I think he's starting to return to form. Like I said, he's another guy I respect his game. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's got a bum rap out there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm expecting a 400-yard game from Allen. The secondary is weak. They're very weak, you know. So if this is our identity, as we stated, you had no problem of a repeat from week 2, you know, or last week or week any of the weeks, you know.
Right.
Did you just give your bold prediction already?
No, man, but I've been working on making them bolder because you guys have been busting my balls about it. So,
Well, Swank, to go off your weak secondary. The only Jonathan Abrams, the only concern I have. I mean, he's a baller.
yeah.
But their left corner, their Arnett, is potentially out for 6 weeks. So their depth at corner is down even more now with his injury.
Yeah.
And
A guy on the defensive end that worries me, and the whole time I was watching the film, and I meant to look his number up. Number 24, I think he's a safety. Is it Isaiah? Does anybody know his last name? He's a popper. He kind of reminds me of Jamal Adams. So on the defensive end, he kind of makes me nervous because he's not afraid to put his shoulder down and hit people. But yep, he's my only worry in the defense. Like I said last night, I sat down for a little bit and I watched the games for a little while. The Raiders, their offense kind of almost resembles the Rams a little bit. They run a lot, they roll out, pass a lot, they have the jet sweep going into motion again. So the Bills are going to see kind of the same thing again for the second week in a row. I think that Oakland Raiders offense doesn't have the firepower that the Rams did.
Nope.
So what about the Las Vegas Raiders?
No, what did I say? Oakland?
Yeah,
I'll probably say Los Angeles too at some point tonight. The LA Raiders, the Oakland, Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't have the firepower that the Rams had. So the Bills, seeing them, this kind of the same offense again for the second week, I think they're going to dominate. You know, we could talk about the offense, but I got a feeling this Fandemonium here has this confidence that we really don't have to worry about our offense much anymore. Isn't that a nice feeling?
Yeah. It is a nice feeling. Our offense is actually facing a 4-3 defense for the first time this year too. So might see
now,
a little
schematically, Scott, is that a benefit or is that going to be something that they struggle against?
Well, it depends on what they choose to do. Strategic wise, you run a 3-4 defense. A lot of times they use those outside linebackers as other pressure guys. So a lot of times it's more of a 5-2. They'll tend to bring the people off the edge. That's why outside linebackers and 3-4 defenses get more sacks. As far as a 4-3 defense, I think as a quarterback, it's a little easier to read the linebackers blitzing. But it is also a little more difficult to defend against the stunts that the linemen will be able to run.
Right,
so
they're all involved.
I think the Bills' running game should be able to thrive off the 4-3 defense. It's a lot easier as a lineman to put a hat on someone and say, I'm blocking him, rather than trying to figure out the linebackers that are 3 to 4 yards away. So schematic, if they're going to go run game, which the Raiders do give up a lot of yards per rush, I think they will benefit facing this 4-3 defense. So it's exciting. Real quick, Eder Lindeda said we should always worry about the offense. Every game is different. So Jared, he's arguing that point. And in this game, upcoming defensive line needs more pressure on the quarterback and containing the run. So he agrees with me and you, Swank.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, we can't forget about every other Bills team that there's been in the last 30 years, you know. It just turns out that you can feel a little more confident with the offense because they're producing at a higher level than they have in years past. And there seems to be like a comfort level, a sustainability, and a buy-in that hasn't been there previous to McDermott and Bean. So as far as the comfort level goes, I feel better about this team than I have any team since 98, 99, whenever Bledsoe was in that one couple of years there. With the defense set up the way you're saying, do you think that'll open up the middle of the field more? I mean, I'm expecting to see, like, with these 20-plus yard bombs that he's been throwing with the secondary the way it is, that should open up a lot of options for them. But with the linebackers lined up the way they are, it might open up the middle of the field a little better too. So
No, like I said, that
because
number
there's less
24
line. There's
kid,
less. Go ahead, Jared.
that number 24 kid, he puts a hat on people. That being said, he's a very aggressive safety. So if he does come up, yeah, that's going to open up the deep ball. I think the middle of the field a lot more. Um, yeah, for sure. He came up quick. I saw him get beat on a couple patterns and miss a couple plays just because he is so aggressive.
If you're running a 4-3 defense and you have a safety dropping real quick into that box, that's 8 people in the box. So now you only have 3 people covering the field, and they can't cover all thirds deep, especially with Diggs and Brown. So it should be interesting. Middle of the field should open up too, Swank. Keep in mind with the 3-4 defense, you have 4 linebackers. The 4-3 defense, their outside linebackers tend to be able to cover wide receivers or tight ends better, kind of like our guy Milano there. But that middle linebacker, if he's dropping in the zone, a lot of times he's dropping straight back, and he's got to kind of drift to where he feels the momentum's going. So Beasley should have another good game too.
I'm okay with that.
Me too. Yeah, he got a quiet 6 catches, 100 yards this week, man.
Yeah. Well, those last 2 weren't too quiet, but yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no. It's kind of like what we were talking about last week, man. Like, it's easy to forget he's even on the field, you know, and they have to pay attention to him. But you wonder how much defenses get wrapped up worrying about Diggs and Brown and Gabe Davis and Josh Allen, you know. You got 4 dudes plus Motor who can apparently make everyone miss.
It's impressive.
It's a lot, and then you can forget about a dude like Bees who's
the best thing about Beasley, like when you expect Diggs, you expect Brown, but when Beasley gets it, you're like, there he is. There he is. That's Beasley, and then you forget about him for the next play. And then you're looking at, okay, where's everybody going on? And then, bam, he gets another one. You're like, there's Beasley again.
Yeah.
And he loves that role. I mean,
the thing I love about that guy is when he catches the ball, he doesn't, let up at all. He doesn't try to save his body. He just goes flying as hard as he can into whoever's closest to him. And usually he bounces off. But he just – that's what I like. The only Cowboy I ever openly said I liked out loud before he came to Buffalo, you know, like he's a tough little dude, man.
He is. He knows where that first down mark is. That's for sure.
Yeah. Eater says
faced
security blanket Beasley.
This Witten plays for Oakland, so
saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. He hasn't been doing much up there though. Right?
Yeah.
Like they're mostly using him as like a decoy and a block. So I wonder.
He runs like he has arthritis in his knees.
Well, yeah. When is he, like 74 years old?
He did retire twice, I think.
You guys do realize if a car gets hurt, Peterman is playing.
Really?
Okay.
Where's Mariota? Is he?
He's injured.
Oh,
he's
is
injured.
he? No way.
Yep. All right, Jerry, what's up? What do you get next?
I just want to throw another plug out to Eder there. Hey, we love the comments. That's what we're here for, the Fandemonium.
Oh, yeah.
If you read our little description of our page, there goes Swank. We are just fans, and everything that we say is just our opinion. And we love it when we get other people's opinions because we can talk about it. And we thank you, Eder. That's awesome. Thanks for participating tonight.
Thank you.
Swank just took off. Scott, is there anything else about the Raiders that you want to discuss before we move on to our picks of the week?
I would say, I know we talked about any concerns. Max Crosby there is the defensive end. He had 10 sacks last year. I think he was a rookie last year, made a name for himself. But this year he's on a good start. He's had 2 sacks, but the team as a whole only has 3. So they're not bringing much pressure to the quarterbacks. Keeping in mind that they played against Breeze and they played against Carolina, and those teams is not like they're not passing. So only 3 quarterback sacks in 3 games, not that impressive. I think our offensive line should be able to handle that group.
Nicely done.
But Max Crosby would be my concern on that defensive line. And second-year player, Cleveland, what's his name? Farrell from Clemson. He's a big guy. He can create a disturbance. So, yeah.
All right, guys, let's make a prediction about this game. Who wants to lead the way? First one to put their hand up. Wow. Okay, Scott, I need for you to give me, first of all, the score of the game, and then give me a nice, bold prediction.
All right. 35-17, Like I said, I don't think the Bills would have any problem scoring on this defense. And Carr's Carr. I think he's going to make some things happen, but I think we'll have a big lead again. But by the time the Raiders start scoring, it'll be tick for tat. So 21-0, 20, something like that, and then score. I don't think we're going to blow any kind of lead this week. And my bold prediction. Oh, and they're playing in Vegas. Can you imagine being at that game with that new stadium?
Yeah,
Poor
the
guys.
Death Star, dude.
Yeah, that's a nice little stadium. My bold prediction is actually pretty. My bold prediction is I'm saying I don't think it's too bold because I think it can happen. I think with the 4-3 defense that they're playing and the fact that I think Dable got a little reminder of how good Singletary is. I'm going with Singletary getting 200 total yards. This is passing and receiving. And he's going to score one passing touchdown and a catching touchdown.
I like that.
So I think it's time to see Singletary take off a little bit here.
Swank.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Let's go your way, Swank. What do you got? Got a score and a bold prediction from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go our Buffalo Bills, undefeated, 28-10. I think your boy Josh Allen puts up another career day. That's not my bold prediction, because my bold predictions have been getting shit on. So. My boldest prediction, dude, my boldest prediction of the whole season so far is this. It's a two-parter. Number 1, Josh Norman starts.
Okay.
Number 2.
Oh, I'd like that.
2 interceptions by him in his Buffalo debut on the Death Star right in front of Darth Carr.
That's a bold prediction right there. I like it.
Talking about. Makes up for all my sissy bold predictions for the last 3 weeks.
So Norman gets he plays this week and he gets 2 interceptions.
Start.
Wow.
2.
Well,
yeah, buddy.
I don't see Carr challenging White, so he's going to be throwing the ball that way against wide receivers that aren't there. They're injury prone right now. So
hell yeah.
I like that one.
Thank you.
Jared, what do you got?
I have, like I said, I know Eder doesn't believe in me, but I feel like the Bills are going to see the Rams 0.5 because they're not even going to be close to what the Rams were actually playing. So the Raiders' offense is kind of similar to the Rams. I know it's a different week, and I know they're different players, so anything can happen. But I feel like Frazier's going to dial it up, and Allen's just going to keep rolling, and that offense isn't going to sputter at all this week. 42-10, Buffalo Bills win. They go 4-0. Bold prediction. I haven't had much time to think of a bold prediction. You know, Swank, you went a little bit crazy this week. Scott, you went a little crazy this week too. I was going to dial it down a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Take the Swank roll.
Take the Swank roll. Gosh. Man, I should have written this down a couple days ago, but I didn't. Let's go with my bold prediction is going to be that. I was going to go Singletary over 100, but you already got that. Let's go with Hyde and Poyer. Each get a pick.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
That's a nice, safe, bold prediction.
Yeah, they're both due. They're both due, so.
You think Hyde...
during the game this past week, as all you viewers might imagine, us three were going back and forth with the fourth member, Justin, back and forth talking about the game. And I noticed that Poyer and Hyde, they were playing pretty hard. They were doing well. And I think at halftime I told the guys to watch out for Poyer and Hyde because they seemed to be scheming up a little bit of something, keeping the quarterback a little guessing game. So I feel like they're going to just continue this week and they're going to get theirs. They each get a pick.
There you go.
Sweet.
That's a nice bold prediction.
I like it.
All right, guys, let's stick with the AFC East. I'll throw the games out for you. If you don't want to, you don't have to get too involved with how you think they're going to win it. But let's go with the Broncos are playing the Jets Thursday, so right around the corner. That's going to be a great primetime game. What's the prediction for that?
I'll go first, dude, because that was gonna be my
Thursday night
toilet
football's
bowl
kinda
pick,
nuts,
man.
It was,
It was
wasn't
gonna
it?
be my toilet bowl, except I knew it couldn't be because it's the AFC East game, and we always pick the AFC East game. So I'm
Who
gonna
picked
go.
this
What's
night
that?
schedule? Who picked this Thursday night schedule?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I saw the commercial for it during during Sunday Night Football, and I was just like, how I don't know how they're getting all of these like montages together of them making plays.
I know, right?
There's just nothing there. Like they should just have pictures of the defense standing on the sidelines high-fiving each other like in between series or something because
Yeah, the video guy had a hard time finding some stuff.
dude,
What do we do? Just throw something from last year in there.
yeah,
They won't
whatever.
notice.
like what do you mean the butt fumble was so long ago, but I guess we'll put it in the highlights. Yeah, so I'm going to go the Broncos win that one because as we so elegantly stated last week, the Jets are horrible. So
Yep. You can go ahead and mark me down for the Broncos as well.
what did you see? Did you say Eater's prediction?
What's that?
Eater's prediction is the Jets 3, the Broncos 2.
There you go. That sounds about right. But this game is not even worth my breath, man. I mean, it's horrible. Put the Broncos down 3-2.
Well,
I'll go with
what you hope for? What you hope for with like last week's game is that it's just a high-scoring game, so it's entertaining,
Yeah.
right? You know, the both teams are kind of still building, still working on something, but you hope that it's a high-scoring game that when people tune in, they can be like, "Oh, look it's 36-29."
Dude,
type thing.
at least the Broncos have an excuse.
Right.
You know, like their quarterback's down, Von Miller's out, like, you know, I don't know. The Jets don't have any excuse. Adam Gase should be fired after this week. If they
There's
lose,
a petition
gone.
out. There's a petition out for that
Yeah.
right now. Jared, who do
Well,
you
we all
got?
know how petitions go. What's that?
Who do you got?
Oh, I already said Broncos. Well,
All right.
I might not have said it. You might have just, it was a pretty easy decision. Guys, the Patriots and Dolphins have a pretty good opponent coming up. So we're gonna go with Patriots versus the Chiefs. What do you got, Swank?
Mahomes killing Cam Newton on the field. And I really want that to happen for two reasons. Not only to separate us with another game, plus it's an AFC game, so that would be huge. But also because I don't want the Chiefs to lose too much before they come here, because I'd rather have this be their trap game than the other way around. And I think any advantage that we can get, even if that game's close, I'm going to consider it a win. You know what I mean? So I would really like if the Chiefs expose New England the way they exposed Baltimore, and maybe they give us a blueprint for the best way to attack Cam, and then we can piggyback on that for the rest of the season too. So I'm going to go Chiefs beat our boy Cam Newton, who I hate.
Our boy Cam, who I hate. I love it.
I got Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Mark it down.
Yep, I marked mine down as the Chiefs too. Now I'm gonna go first with this next one. Miami's traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Fitzy Magic's gonna pull it off. They're gonna beat Russell Wilson. That should be an upset too. Well, it will be an upset, but I got
that'd be a
Miami
huge
beating the
upset.
Seahawks.
Real quick, back to the Chiefs-Patriots game. Where's that game being played?
At Chiefs.
Okay, they're safe.
Yeah, it's a safe bet now.
I'm going. Russell Wilson is too good, Jared. I don't think the Dolphins can stop them at all. Their offense is too potent.
You don't have faith in Fitzy?
No, Seahawks win. Big.
All right. Big?
Big.
I don't know, man.
Thanks
This could be a pull ahead game for one or two of us. Excuse me.
I'll mention the records after this.
Their records? Or
No, our records.
Oh, our records.
Yeah.
So that Seahawks secondary is not good.
No.
And Jamal Adams got banged up, I think,
I think
last
he's
week.
done. He's done for a week or two.
So you're right, Jared. There could be that Fitzmagic factor. Devontae Parker's hungry. I like what they're putting together there. The showing they had against the Bills. They haven't been completely out of any game, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to do it, man. I think Dolphins win. Dolphins beat the Seahawks. And, again, show us how to do it so that when they come to Buffalo, we can reap the benefits on it. I like that, too.
There you go. That's
There
good.
you go. Strategic
Good
picks.
All right, so let me get this out there so everybody knows. After this week's game, Scott and myself are sitting at 5-3 in the AFC East games. Swank is up on top with a 6-2 record. Yep, there you go. We'll let you ride that for a little bit. But regarding our picks of the week or our upsets of the week, we're all 0-3. So join in if you'd like.
Everything outside of the AFC East. I'll take it, dude. Because, I mean,
All right.
3 of those wins.
Swank, I know you usually go with the toilet bowl game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We already have the Broncos playing the Jets. We already picked that game. So what's your next one?
Oh, I got another one, buddy. The battle of the winless. The Minnesota Vikings against the surprisingly horrible Houston Texans.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, Kirk Cousins. Don't need your Stephon Diggs up there, do you now?
Oh, yeah. Cousin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's full of himself. Oh, he's not a team guy. Nope. I'm going to say that the Vikings, again, are horrible. Kirk Cousins is, again, overrated. He's in the Phillip Rivers category for me, and if you're just tuning in and never seen me rant about that before, Phillip Rivers is super overrated. He's never done anything, and he gets excuses made for him constantly. So I put him in the same category as like Jay Cutler, currently Sam Darnold, and I'm going to say Kirk Cousins for sure. So Deshaun Watson gets his first win of the season on his home turf, right? Yeah, in Houston. Yeah.
Yep, in Houston.
Going Houston over Minnesota.
Minnesota. All right, Scott, what you got?
I have a week that Falcons fans will not forget. They put together fourth quarters.
2 weeks where they can't forget.
In existence.
I'm
a
talking
Super
good.
Bowl.
I'm talking good thing. I think the 0-3 Falcons are going to beat the 3-0 Packers.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a Monday night football game too. So there you go.
Yep, it is.
There you go, Falcons. Your first win of the
Have
year.
you seen the stats of like the highest passers in the league? Number 1 is Mahomes, I think, right now. Number 2 is Josh Allen. And then number 3 is Matt Ryan. And
With
then
0-3 record.
Yeah, and then it goes on to I think Russell Wilson, somebody else. But every out of the top 5, all of those quarterbacks are undefeated except for Matt Ryan.
Without even one win.
Yeah.
Man.
It's sad, man.
Now, usually I go for an upset. Scott, you went for the upset. Swank, you went for the toilet bowl. But I'm going to go with a friend's pick this week. I got a buddy who watches the K-Gun Report, and he's a huge Bears fan. And the Bears are 3-0. They made a gut check decision halfway through the game this past week and put Nick Foles in. And as much as, I don't know, if you like him or not, Trubisky.
You said that very Chicagoan.
What's that?
Trubisky. You said it very
Trubisky.
Chicagoan.
Da Bears.
Trubisky. If you like him or not, he won't be. I don't think he's going to be playing this next week. So I've always been a Nick Foles fan, and I'm pulling this one for Gordy. I got the Bears beating Phillip Rivers and the Colts this week.
There you go.
I like
anytime an NFC team can beat an AFC team, we're about it.
Anytime Phillip Rivers loses, I love it.
There you go.
And I know. I mean, he has crappy numbers, and he's just sitting there on the sidelines, and his team around him's the one who's winning it, and he just sits there like he's all high and mighty, and it's not really him winning it.
You're preaching to the converted.
Yeah. All right, guys. Episode 9, almost in the books. Before we close it, anybody have any last thoughts for tonight?
Last thoughts. That's a good one. I never really have a last thought unless I'm getting in an argument with the wife there. But
Oh, man. And this episode will be on Spotify, Mrs. Reed, at midnight tonight.
boy,
We
no.
won't see Scott next week.
Just have your wife sit in your spot. And she's like, he has to watch the kids. So I'm on the podcast.
Final thought: just 4 quarters, 4 full quarters from Josh Allen, I think, and the defense. That's what we
I
need.
think you'll get that. I'm confident you'll get that. That's a good thought, and I agree. Yeah, I think this is the week. I mentioned it in the last couple episodes that I feel like the first 3 games of the season are going to be like the preseason where we're going to get the feel. We're going to see what the offense is going to do, how the defense is going to look. And game 4 is when it all comes together, Scott. You're going to get your wish, I think. I think 4 quarters is going to be it. Swank, I need last thoughts.
Yeah, I got a couple. I heard on the radio today. There's one thought. I heard on the radio today a really interesting point about how in the last couple seasons under McDermott, the defense has always had a 3-game lull where they're getting their stuff together, they're trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden they come back and they're dominant. And a lot of people, especially in the playoff years, have like dismissed that because they made the playoffs. But if you go back and look at it, I mean, last year with like the Philly game and the Redskins game, even when they were getting ran all over and that kind of thing, and then the years prior, whatever. So I'm hoping that these first 3 games without the preseason was that time, and I agree. I think they're going to show exactly what they are. They've already proven that they have the talent. I mean, it's pretty much the same team from last year, right? Only with nothing but upgrades. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll get it together, and that'll be a beautiful, beautiful day. My other thoughts are that you can join us any Tuesday night at 9:30 during the season or in the off season for the K-Gun Report at 24/7 Bills Fandemonium. And if you can't be live with us, you can catch us on YouTube afterwards or Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts.
You're good at that.
Thanks.
Almost like a recording. And as always, we like to thank everybody who has viewed our show live today, who will view it in the future. We're called the Fandemonium because we're just that. We're crazy fans that just like to talk about football. And when we say talk, that's exactly what it is. We like to hear opinions from all around. Everybody's opinion matters, good, bad, or ugly. We want to listen to you. We want to have a respectful conversation. We want to be able to have a knowledgeable conversation. If you have questions, just ask. Go to our page on Facebook, 24/7 Bills Fandemonium. If you need to ask us a question about anything you want to know the answer to, we'll give you our best answer. Again, we're not professionals. We're just here to have fun. So, again, thank you, everybody. Swank, Scott, thanks for joining us tonight. And, a couple days before we travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, formerly known as Oakland, Los Angeles, Quebec. No, just kidding. But, again, join us at 9:30 next Tuesday night, and hopefully we'll be talking about the Buffalo Bills 4-0 start. And, guys, again, thank you very much for everything. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.